And this is the danger of exposing things just a little too fast. Now, on this particular video, I know someone had made a comment in my comment section about it doesn't really look like you're looking at us in the face. And I explained to them because when I'm making my videos, I'm often doing things at different times while I'm making the video. Maybe that's the downside to how I present my videos, but this is just who I am. I am a multitasker when I handle certain situations. And a lot of times when I'm doing the videos, I'm looking for bullet points to make sure I'm staying on point. And I myself don't have all the advanced equipment. In doing so, I simply take notes on what I'm trying to say. And I try to make sure I'm hitting those notes. So depending on, which area of my camera is sitting on, when I look back up, it might look like I'm looking at you, or it might not look like I'm looking at you. And I know for some people that could be a little irritating if you're used to people just staring you into the camera. So I just wanted to explain that because, like I told the person that made a comment, that's a good observation to look at, because there's probably other people that are saying the same thing that you are saying as to why I'm not actually looking into the camera at them, look like I'm looking at them. That's because I'm just giving you the real. I'm giving you a lot of the stuff. If I don't put bullet points, it's because I just solely know what I want to say. This finna just come out. But back to the video, far as the dangers of exposing stuff too quickly. And I have written this down, so I want to make sure so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at what I wrote here, because this is kind of where my last video was talking about. I like to look at things from all areas with all the issues. I like to expose all the issues. And then when it happened, I also like to go back so I can show you what I meant the previous video. So the dangers of exposing too fast. When someone that is using manipulation is because they are truly trying to improve on the scams that they are doing. By exposing too fast without proper studying their behavior, it leaves room to alter and improve on their tactics. If they are a scammer, or if they are a manipulator, or if they are a narcissistic person, if you just be quick to jump and quick to react, then they can react with what you're doing. So you can kind of sort of look at this tactic as if it's like a game. Let's think of it like a game. So if you're studying your opponent's team, if you're playing against your opponent, you're going to watch their behavior from previous games, right? You're going to watch their behavior and how they did a certain thing. Matter of fact, I think I seen a video where a guy was talking about his young son, and I don't know if I'm quoting the right age, but I think it was around 5 or 6, where he was talking with his buddies, and his young son would say, well, he's going to do this or he's going to do that. That's because people develop patterns. And so even kids can recognize patterns, right? And just so happened this particular person in the story recognized that this particular person kept doing the same play over and over. So the kid, not realizing that he was disclosing information to his father, basically said he's going to do the same thing because he always do it, right? Okay, so it allowed the father, who is now discussing the game with his friends, to say, because of what his son gave him the idea to focus on, that this person is going to do this particular thing. And so they're wondering, how you know this? Oh, because we're just watching the patterns. We're just watching what they're doing. And for those that are not paying close attention, it will just go over their heads, right? So the dangers of exposing it too fast, you can kind of do it such as a game. You can watch their patterns if you were playing a game to them, and you'll notice that each time they go to do something, they're doing the same play over and over and over again, right? So you could kind of see where this is going over time, especially if you are studying them for a long time. You can kind of pick up on things. You can kind of see from one stage to the next as to what they may or may not do it, right? Because you're studying them like if it was a game. And by doing so, when you're implementing that, you're kind of locking those people into whatever their decision is. Okay, so you kind of put your foot in your mouth. You left the space open. So let me just go ahead and squeeze this space so you have no way of coming up out of it unless you're going to take another path. And this is why it's kind of good to look at things from all angles, because it's the what if they take another path, and what if they do this, or what if they do that. And if you're looking at it from all angles, you could put yourself in that scenario and say, well, if this was me and I was doing it, then this will be the next step that I would do. But I know this ain't me, so let me look at it from my perspective and also get what I would do in this situation. So it allows you to close in the gap to where they're at. And it also allows them to be able to basically put their foot in their mouth. Okay, so since you want to do this, let's go ahead and stop it, because you can go this way or you can go that way, but this is the way I would go. But what if they don't think like me? I got to go this way. I got to go that way. It's just like a game. You're basically counteracting off of their previous patterns, the previous decisions that they have done, and you are leaving no space in order for them to now they got to really come up with something else. Or you walk them into the play like I described that you foreseen that could have possibly happened. You literally lead them straight to it, right? Sort of like what a lot of attorneys do when they're truly representing the case the way they want to. They got to look at this case from every single angle, from what could possibly happen, what can't happen. And then you got to play each scenario in your mind. And then when you do so, you got to figure out the solution. And well, if this person does this, then what am I going to do? If that person does that, then what if they say this on the stand? I got to be able to do it. It's when an attorney think they're so overconfident that they got this, that they didn't play every scenario in their head. It's that scenario that typically happens. And now they're like, oh my goodness, why didn't I think of that? Right? Because you got overconfident in what you were doing. You wasn't looking at it for what it was. You was just looking at it for what you thought you had an effect on versus what could have possibly happened. And that is the benefit of looking at things at all angles. You can kind of predict how something will happen if you're looking at it in all possible ways. And the best way to be the manipulator in this scenario is simply just to play their game, right? But you use their behavior to your advantage, not to your disadvantage. You bring it to the attention of whoever you're trying to bring it to, but you always keep in the back of your mind their behavior, so that way it doesn't come as a huge shocker to you when they do it, because you already thought about it, because you placed yourself in that person's shoes. Like I did a video where I was saying a lot of times when stuff happened, I try to place myself in the shoes of the person that is doing it to me. And then that way I could say, what if it was this? What if it was my son? What if it was my daughter? What if? And when you put yourself in the place of a manipulator as to what would you do if you was the manipulator, then you could kind of see where you would go. Not to say necessarily that you would do that, okay? Because that's where you have to have the morals and know that it's not right, but you're just looking at all the possible options. That's why it's better to research and study people if you're going to speak on it. That's why it's better to watch things through, compare it through the path, and not just jump out there just to say you got something on whatever that they're doing. It could literally backfire even on you simply because they knew you were going to do what you were going to do. And so let me go ahead and fix it so it doesn't have any effect, right? So you have to look at it. You literally, if you're going to expose manipulators on the level that you need to expose them on, you literally have to put yourself in their shoes. You have to get into their mind to try to figure out, why are they thinking like this? Then you also have to get into the minds of the people that are believing them. The only way you can relate to why they're believing is to understand why they're doing it. And if you're not going to get it from whatever source that you are getting it from, then you got to take it to them directly in order to find out why do they think the way that they think. You know, it's all part of manipulation. It really is. I said in previous videos how some manipulation actually can be a good thing. Not all manipulation is bad. Some of it is actually good and is necessary in order to get to the common goal. So you have to know what is happening in order to execute your plan. It is all for the common good when it's done the correct way. And that's kind of where I was trying to get at straight across the board when it comes to exposing issues. Not just exposing the scams, but expose the issues that surrounding the scams and what allow it to keep going and what have people in doubt. You know, even when I was going through this last thing, I kept saying, and we wonder why we can't get people to understand what we're saying when it comes to when you have such belief in the person that you're speaking on. It's because you yourself aren't willing to look at the full picture. It's only when you look at the full picture that you can see it for what it is, not just for the mission at hand. To be effective, you literally have to look at it from all different perspectives, from all different angles. You have to be able to study the patterns of what the person is doing in order for it to be more effective in whatever it is that you're trying to communicate. And that's where people have to learn the difference between jealousy and simply trying to make it stick. Because as I said on the previous video, everyone is going to do what they're set out to do on this platform on their own timing. So we all have to look at it from all perspectives in order to be effective, right? We have to. And as one viewer said to me in one of my comments, T. Washington, he said, to me, it seemed like you have to be slicker than butter. And I was laughing when I read it because I'm like, you really do. In order to stay ahead of a manipulator, you have to be slicker than they are. Because if you're not, you're going to get thrown off. They're always going to be a step ahead of you. You're always going to be kind of shocked as to what they're doing, because if you're not willing to look into the core of everything, if you're not willing to do the research, if you're not really to put the time into it to really figure out what's going on, then your story too is only one-sided. It's only one-sided by the victor. It ain't sided by the viewer. It's not sided by the manipulator. It's not sided by the people that you're trying to bring awareness to. The only way you could bring awareness to something is to assess the whole thing. Plain and simple. That's all it is, right? And like I said in my last video I made on my comment, you know, if I was trying to appease to everybody, then I would only say what people want me to say, and I will only do what people want me to do. But if I'm going to hold the position that I say I am exposing it all with awareness and being truthful and being honest, then I have to look at everything leading up to that, even if it makes me, you know, even if it throws a dagger at myself, then it just throws a dagger at myself. But I will let you know, I do a lot of self-reflecting every single day. Every single time I do something, I have to then pull myself back. I have to understand why it is that I'm doing what I am doing. Why am I addressing the issue? And it's not just for me. At the end of the day, it's never just for me, because I know what it would take to blow up I know what it takes to blow up for my channel because I know what people like about my channel. But I will also be honest with it and say what will blow my channel up is not necessarily what I'm into, because it doesn't align with my morals. So I have to look at it in a different perspective in order to get it out there in a way that I can be comfortable with myself. It's not just about views. It's not just about subscribers. It's about the truth. It's about exposing it. It's about exposing behavior. It's about showing people what is actually leading up to a person being able to do the things that they're doing. I told y'all before, I know a lot of these manipulative tactics. I just choose not to use them, because then how does that make me any different? But if I know what's going on, I can address the issue, bring it in front of the people to the forefront. For some people that might even be thinking it, but just not sure if that's what they saw, let me go ahead and bring it to the forefront. Let's address the issue, and then let's work together to try to bring a common goal to an end. Because at the end of the day, if we're all on the same mission, or we're all on the same goal, if we all work to, you know that saying, work together will be better. That is divided shall fall. That's in everything. If you're fighting for a common goal, if you're divided and you're not seeing what the root of the problem is, then you will never succeed. You will never succeed. And then it'll be an ego thing. It will be an I thing. It will be this and that thing, versus no, what's the main thing? Okay, let's look at the main thing here, right? Not just, and even if it exposes you for what you're doing, that's being real. That's literally being a real person. And that's one thing about me that when it comes to lying, when it comes to revealing things, I don't care if I make myself look bad. Before I make somebody else look bad, I'll put myself in that position so that way maybe they can see it better versus throwing it at somebody else. So I intentionally, when I talk about certain things, I don't put names to it, because my intention is not to hurt the other person. My intention is to bring awareness to what's going on. Although some people can try to put things together to try to make it seem like somebody. And if I was trying to go that route, then I would just simply say that's the route that I am trying to go. But when I am trying to show it from the back end and bring it to the front so everybody's made aware of what's actually going on, it's not jealousy. And I don't know where people are, because I read all comments. I literally read all comments. It's not jealousy. It's not not wanting to see anybody get ahead. It's just to know the truth, because how can you know how to grow from something if you don't know all the details combined behind what is going on? So, yeah, y'all. Like I said, I'm a different breed. I'm a different breed here. I'm digging on all things. I am. And if I'm talking about it, one thing, rest assured, if I'm saying what I'm saying, it's because I studied what I'm saying. I'm not just throwing it out there. I'm telling you what I've learned. I'm showing you in a creative way sometimes how to get what I'm trying to say across. And I know in doing it that way, it will not, again, I will say, it will not resonate with a lot of people. It won't, because unfortunately, some people will get a dagger it wasn't intended for them to get. But it's still the truth, right? I watched Authentic talk about Dante London and DoorDash, and I'm mentioning his name because I want him to get accolades for what I'm saying. And I've done pieces on Dante London and DoorDash together myself, but when I watched his video today here recently, he explained it so in my eyes, he explained it so effectively. He did. He explained it as to why one worked, why the other didn't, right? Now, whether or not he get the views that he needs to get on that channel or on that video or not, the only time will tell. But what he's saying is absolutely the truth, y'all. It is the truth. And some may not want to accept that truth because whoever is giving the message. But what he said was the truth. The reason why Dante was able to recover is because he caught himself before falling off the same cliff that DoorDash basically decided to jump and leap on, right? And I've said this so many times, Lord, when you start seeing stuff and realizing how everything is happening and what's actually going on in the back end, you can't unsee it. You can't unsee what's being done. So if you're trying to help people, you have to bring that awareness to the forefront. You have to, because if you don't, then, and it's not that you think you know it all. It's not. It's just you're observant of whatever it is that you're researching. Like another person told me in my comment today, where they were saying, well, I never seen where any huge content creator says that not to niche down. All content creators that are huge all niche down. No, they don't. There are major content creators on this platform that do not believe in niching down, and they are very, very successful. I'm talking about in the millions of subscribers and the millions of views, if that's what you're looking for as far as vain metrics. But will not follow a niche. They just won't do it. And in this day and age, in this system, unfortunately, if you're not willing to adapt to the new, you're going to get left behind in the old. So if we're working for a common goal, if we're working for trying to effectively handle something, then we have to bring everything through the forefront, and we have to deal with all the issues that are happening, the underlying issue people do not want to talk about, as to why we keep falling in this same pattern that we keep falling into. When it comes to growth on YouTube, when it comes to exposing people on YouTube, when it's coming to helping our fellow content creators, and even when it simply means just that you're trying to help yourself, just be honest about what your intentions are. Just plain honest and simple. When you're dealing with honesty, then, and you don't really care for real what people say, then you can express what you're saying, and you can express it more effectively. When you come to the realization of you saw the truth, and the truth is the truth, and it ain't gonna change because the truth don't change, it has no problem. You have no problem speaking on it. But I'm going to be one of the ones that tell you. I don't think I'm going to be the first one to tell you, but I'm going to be one of the ones that tell you. A lot of people will not agree with what you're saying. Case in point, if I wanted to use somebody as an example of this, I literally watched an almost 2-hour video with Mr. Beast. One of the people y'all swear is the biggest people on this platform is Mr. Beast. I would say this. He is the biggest human that is alive, but there's a whole company that's bigger than him, and that is Coco Melon on this platform, right? But he himself said that all he was ever trying to do was help people be successful and help people to do what they need to do on this platform because of what he learned. And he found out the more you try to help people, the more people are going to attack you. And that is when you know you're truly doing it for the people. When no matter how many attacks you get, you're still going to do the right thing because it's just the right thing to do. Right? And that is where all the people who are the manipulators are trying to switch it and say, well, if I don't have no haters, then I know I haven't made it. It's when I get haters that I know I made it. No, you can have haters and still not be doing the right thing and still haven't made it. But it's when you're truly just being honest with it all. You're just simply being honest. That honesty don't resonate with a lot of people. Because why? More people like to be entertained with lies. And that's just the truth. Lies are more entertaining than the truth, and more accepting than the truth. And it is what it is. But as always, I'm going to go ahead and end this here. But as always, be your brothers and sisters keeper. Keep God first. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on this video. And toodles.